We're live.
Or live. Okay, that's lap number one. Okay. Okay. One more ready. Okay, good. Great. Welcome to Lattes with Lorimer.
I feel like you're playing Ring Around the Rosy.
And the music stops now. Grab a chair.
There we go.
Welcome to Lattes with Lorimer. Yes, it's Tuesday. It's 3:15 PST. That means it's Java time. So, this is Eddie Cena. We look kind of, you know.
He's my twin.
I'm your dad.
My dad. Okay, yeah, my dad.
Not really. Older brother.
We can do that. We can swing that.
Okay. There must be a lot of siblings in between. Anyway, so we're going to be talking with Eddie. Eddie is awesome. Eddie is very much a media advocate and is adopting all things kind of progressive. We're going to get into that in a minute. First of all, we do this. Cheers.
There it is.
Caffeine.
Just what I need.
Chug. So, first of all, I think we should give Eddie, what's your wife's name? Monique, a big round of applause if you're out there with little baby Olivia, who is how many days old?
She's about 19 days old.
19 days old, first child.
First.
And you still look alive.
I'm very much alive.
Sleeping?
From like 2 a.m. to about 7 p.m. I'm very much alive. But you know, the beauty of it is just I'm up all night. My baby's up all night. She sleeps all day, which means I'm up all night. And I can't sleep all day, so you gotta truck through it. So
More of this stuff.
More of this stuff. I will take a lot of breaks. Dan! Let's get more coffee.
Okay, did you see that? By the way, that switches, it flips. Babies then don't sleep during the day and they will sleep through the night. But it takes a minute. Anyway. So Eddie, tell us, you have a very colourful past. With Lattes, you know, obviously we're a real estate company, but we like to talk about so much more than just real estate here. It's much more about people than it is about houses. Even though the houses are very important, I think it's important as well, equally, to know the people behind the houses. So that's kind of what Lattes is. Tell us a little bit about, you know, where you come from, where did you grow up, how did you find yourself here?
Well, I am an LA native. I was born at UCLA Medical Center over in Westwood. The first 12 years of my life I spent in LA. And then my family, we all moved out together to Burbank, California. And
you make that sound like it's a long way away. It's like 5 miles that
way. It's
5
miles, but with LA traffic, it's a good hour 20.
True.
So, went out there, went to school out in the valley. I did graduate from Ulysses Grant High School. Attended Pierce College and a little bit of CSUN as well. And that's where I started my real estate career. You know, I started when I was about 23. I'm 29 now. I'll be 30 in a couple days.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot. So I just started. I got into it. I loved it. It's one of those things where, you know, when people say, you know, not everyone wanted to start in real estate. I was one of those rare people that said, I kind of want to do real estate when I was in high school and college. So
you're one of the kids that I probably would not have hung out with then. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No. And in many ways, I had the feeling when I had kind of switched careers, and I loved, you know, doing music. I loved it, but after I'd switched careers, I was like, wow, I wonder what would have happened if I'd started this 15 years ago. But who knows? And I think, especially in LA, in a city that's vastly changing, I mean, you know more than I've been here for 25 years, and you've been here for 29. In a city that's changing so vastly, you know, a career in real estate now is a sophisticated, exciting gig. So tell us, how did you get your foot in the door if you've been doing it for 6 years? You know, what were you doing before you joined PLG?
Well, what I was doing before PLG, I was working in another real estate company. pretty much did a lot more than just sell real estate. It was kind of a hands-on experience with the office and how the office runs. It was one of those things where I wanted to learn how an office runs because one day I wanted to open up an office. It came to the point where I told my wife, I'm like, hey, I think I'm gonna just get my broker's license and just open up shop for myself. It's just to the point where I don't feel like I can work creatively as I want to.
Right.
And then one day I started noticing PLG Estates liking all of my pictures, and I said, who is PLG Estates? And I looked in there, and immediately when I saw it, I saw snippets and videos, and I said, I love it. What Peter says on these videos, it would have saved me years of headaches. I would have learned things so much faster. And the best part about it, you weren't secretive about it. You just let it all out. And I said, that's amazing. This is a person that's very transparent and has all their cards laid out and just really genuinely wants people to succeed. And I felt like this was that outlet. Instead of going out and opening up my own brokerage, it was, this is the place where I can have that creative freedom that I've always wanted.
Well, you know, to me, creativity, or rather, I'm going to flip it. Conversely, restriction to me really sucks the air out of the room. Now, I'm not saying that rules and regulations are for the birds. Some people work better in, I mean, this is like ice cream, right? There are so many different flavors of ice cream. Not everybody likes mint chocolate chip. Not everybody likes Rocky Road or vanilla. And it's the same with business, not just real estate. There are so many different ways to skin this cat. And I'm a firm believer that there is room for everyone. And I'm also a firm believer that to enrich one's own experience, you've got to keep giving it away. The more you learn, the more you give away. Yeah. And to see you know, you're blossoming with your stuff, the Blitz, and you know, all of the media that you're doing, it warms the cockles of my heart to see it happen. Let's talk, we're going to come back to that in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about, let's talk about some stuff outside of real estate. What are some of your goals that you want to accomplish with your new expanding family? Do you plan to stay in LA? Are there places on the planet that you haven't been yet? Your Italian roots?
Yeah, well, one of the things that I'm really into is I always loved business. I was always a fan of business, and I always thought real estate was a catalyst and a vehicle to help me bloom in everything else that I wanted to do. Now, you know, I had a timeline for what I wanted to do in my 20s, and that's kind of closing out, and I want to do things in my 30s and 40s. And now the beauty of it is that real estate is in the center of all of those things.
Cool.
So I spent most of my 20s really honing in on real estate and really knowing what it's about. So in the next stage of my life, it's already covered. I already know how to do the real estate portion of it. Now it's just taking on those different business ventures when they come.
Interesting. And it's very powerful because you're one of those agents, and it's a rare thing. You have the kind of book smart knowledge, you know, because you had to do that at your other company, so that's a given. Knowing the documents inside and out is really, really important, and sometimes lacking, I find, not here, but anyway, that's a whole different ball of wax. But then you also have the other ingredient, which is you're an LA native, but you've got street smarts as well. Yeah. And street smarts for me is everything. When I see someone who can not only understand what a transaction is, but what that transaction could mean in the future and how an asset can, how that asset is going to blossom over the next 10 years, you've got that ability. And I don't know if it's because you grew up here or just because you've always been super hip, I don't know.
I think it's a combination of things. I think even as a kid, I was pretty much stuck at the hip with my dad. My dad was a very social, very friendly person, still is. And, you know, he had friends all over LA, all over Southern California. So I said, Dad, where are you going? He said, I'm going to go see so-and-so. He's like, I'm going with you. And that's pretty much how I got to learn how to move around LA. There's people that only stay in the Miracle Mile, people that only stay in the Valley, people that only stay in downtown. And I think one of the cool things was I never really stayed in one place. I always said to my dad, Dad, wherever you go, take me. And he did. And I've been going everywhere with him ever since.
I love it.
And it never really stopped, it never changed. And now when people ask me, you know, what areas do you surface? I said, or work in. it's not an area, it's LA. I know LA completely from San Bernardino County to Ventura down to Orange County. It's just amazing, and I don't know if it's just me that got out a lot. I guess I just got lucky.
That's a pretty big area to know, though. I mean, it's pretty massive.
It's pretty big, but once you do it often, it kind of feels like it's your backyard. You say, oh, okay, I want to go play around in downtown, or I want to go play around in 3rd Street Promenade. It's just really kind of just finding, you're not going to do everything all at once. You kind of just focus on little areas, little bits at a time, and at the end of the day, you kind of know the entire city.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle, you know? It's like, and I remember when I was a new agent, and this is one of the things why I really liked you. When I was a new agent over at Keller Williams, they, you know, the tradition at that point was to farm an area, get a, you know, go door knocking, and no offense against those that like to door knock, God bless you. But I was like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I wanted to service a clientele, so I was more not geo-driven, but demographic-driven, right? And now I see that theory. Well, I was maybe there was a few of us doing it. I don't really know anybody back then, but that theory now seems to have come into fruition, and there's a lot more people doing that. So you're someone, you and I can get very, very nerdy.
Very much so.
We like to get down in the weeds with the tech and the gadgets and the gizmos.
It's like our #1 topic of conversation every time we see each other. Hey, what's your new toy? Let me play with it.
So you're on the front lines. Let's talk a little bit about, you're doing the videos, you're doing the blitz, you're doing these kind of nuggets of information. What kind of results are you seeing?
I do see people that are very interested in certain topics. Now, I want to say more often than not, there's people saying, can you make a video about this? And they kind of lead into another topic. But I do see people grasping to the information more to then, hey, I'm Eddie and I can sell your property in 7 days.
Right.
Call me if you need to buy or sell. I feel that when you're just giving and not expecting anything in return, life just happens to work that way, and it just returns it to you.
And you've already had clients approach you because of the videos,
yes,
directly or indirectly.
Yes, they've all been through social media.
Okay.
There's really no more excuse why people cannot reach you. There's a call button on Instagram, there's a call button on Facebook, there's direct messaging on Snapchat. There's really no excuses. If someone's going to go out of their way to call you, it's because they know what they're doing and they're serious.
Well, I think your content as well is you take great care over it, and like I said, you and I get very, very nerdy. You know what we got to do one day? We got to go to Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas.
We do. I definitely been looking into that. I go look at it and I'm just like,
have you been?
No, but I see different influencers, tech influencers on YouTube. Because I binge on YouTube as well. I'm sorry.
My YouTube buddy.
Yeah, so I look on there. I go to a certain account, and they're at all the shows, and they're making me feel old every time they have this new technology. I'm just like, I just bought this.
Well, how the hell do you think they make me feel?
Oh.
Okay, let's look at that. So let's do this, because we might have some fellow nerdies watching right now. Let's talk about what are your 3 favorite bits of gear. If an agent is out there, and I rattle on about this all the time, but you know, it's great to hear from you at your point of view. Let's talk about 3 pieces of gear that you think are a must for anybody, not just agents, anybody who's trying to develop business right now.
Well, I think we all have the first tool, which is our phones.
Yep.
There's really no excuse. The phones are updating, and they're getting more acceptable with videos and YouTube and social media. I shot a video on the way over here just off my phone, and it was just quality's good, video's good, easy to upload. Again, there's no excuse that why you can't post online. So your phone is one. Your second one is if you want to get a little bit more techy. I was very basic when I started, so I got a DSLR camera.
Which one?
I got a Canon T5i.
Okay, great.
I just figured the functionality, the auto zoom.
And you can get those for like what, $500-600, right?
$500-600. I am, I think, a notorious bargain shopper, and I got mine off Craigslist for like $400 with like 2 lenses, and I was like, I'm set.
Damn.
Let's go. Let's do this. There was really no excuse. And then after that, I think it's your software. You know, what you really want to edit on. again, there's no excuse. There's editing software on your phone. You can do a quick little video, put it out there. I'm just a big advocate of video. So it's those three little things.
Glowing with pride.
And it was good to kind of realize, you know, I knew that this is where the industry was going, and to kind of realize where there was, PLG was kind of like a safe haven that knew that.
A safe house.
And you just kind of came here and you felt normal because you wanted to do video. I said that's a great combination. Why not?
I love it. So for the people out there, what are the handles that they can find you at?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Facebook on EAO the Realtor. Snapchat and YouTube and Twitter, you guys can find me as EAO Real Estate.
EAO Real Estate. Okay, and we'll put the details on this as well. All right, at this point we stand and we embrace. Good team, mate. Right. Awesome job. All right, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Eddie. That is it from another Lattes with Lorimer. We will be back with another victim next week. Thanks again, Eddie. Big round of applause for you and your new baby.
Thank you.
And until next time, we will see you later. Toodaloo.